next episode of Keeping It Real. So on this episode, this one's going to be awesome because we've got Jason Samard as my co-host. So Jason was actually our first Keeping It Real guest many years ago, and he's been a long-term guest of the show and co-host a couple times. And our guest today, I'm super excited to announce, is Al Lewis. So Al has a really interesting story. He was an Illinois broker for 30 years and decided it was time to retire, moved to Florida to retire, but got bored and decided to hop back into real estate. And in this new market, he's been able to set up a new system and he's really just killing it. So we're going to dig in and see what strategies he's been using. So, and I'm Kevin McCarthy, co-founder of Real Geeks, and I'll be helping handle questions and jump in every now and then with my input. So that said, Jason, let's kick it off.
Awesome. Kevin, thank you again for honestly founding like an amazing company that's been a huge asset in our business. Like, I can't thank you enough. So thank you for everything that Real Geeks has done for us. And Al, I'm excited to chat with you, brother. This is going to be a good call. So you got to explain this to everybody. You were in real estate for how long and then retired?
30 years. I started in 1986. So I started, my original CRM was 3x5 index cards and a legal pad. Started before the internet, before email, before fax machines, before cell phones. So this technology to me, as it got better and better, I remember in 1995 when the internet came out and was getting popular and how it was going to put realtors out of business because everybody was just going to buy houses online. And obviously it hasn't worked that way. It's done nothing but make our business easier and easier as far as I'm concerned. It's really
okay. Al, how does somebody go from literally like Morse code and, texting from pop cans with string to literally like utilizing technology like Real Geeks to sell? I had to take another look, but you've already sold this year, what is it, 38 deals directly from your Real Geeks website? So
yes.
Explain how you decided to go from 30 years in the business, probably how did you do your business before Real Geeks? Did you do internet leads?
I did back in the late 90s. I actually I was with the first pay-per-click companies. I started with GoTo.com, Alta Vista, which GoTo became Overture. Overture was sold to Yahoo. I was one of the original users with Google, and things were so much easier then. Basically, if you wanted to, it showed you a list 1 through 20, and it showed that and you just picked keyword phrases, and if you wanted the keyword phrase, homes for sale in blank city, it would show you, what your bid had to be to be number 1, number 2, number 3. And that was it. I mean, that's all there was to PPC back in the day. I got out of it when it got to the point, because it was that way, it was $10 a click. It went up to, believe it or not, and then Google changed all their algorithms and changed the way they did business to where I don't understand it and I don't do it now. I want to sell real estate. I don't want to. I've got somebody that does that for me, and he's great at it. So, and there's lots of good people out there that do it. You guys both know that. So my guy's great. I talk to him once a month. He handles the lead generation, and that's it. But, okay. Honestly, I moved down here, to quote, semi-retire. I'm not that old. I'm 57 and I still got to work, but I kind of got bored sitting by the pool. And about 2 years ago, I came over to Remax. And one of the reasons I chose Remax was the name, because I was somebody up in Illinois where I'm nobody here. And what happened was I got frustrated because up north, after being in the business so long, it was easy. My phone would ring and I'd do deals. Here, my phone wasn't ringing. The only business I was doing was I was getting referrals from realtors back in Illinois and other parts of the country that I knew, but it wasn't happening. And I said, okay, I'm good. I just need to talk to people. And what's the easy, do I want to go back to being a phone warrior? I went through all, I used to cold call 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. Do I want to do the cold call thing? Do I want to do open houses? And I said, absolutely not. What do I want to do to generate leads? And I just need the opportunity to talk to people. So I went to the internet marketing. Well, what happened before that was I was getting frustrated, and the guy in my office said to me, Al, you're nobody here. You got to start over. And that's when I said, all right, you're right. And I just got into generating the leads. My first ads ran on my Real Geeks website December 18th of 2018. And last year, I think, I don't know the exact number. We closed 40 something deals last year using Real Geeks. I did it by myself. And in July, I brought on a great partner. Her name's Lindsay. And she was an agent who was doing okay. She's doing a couple million a year, but wanted to go to the next level. And she joined me, and she killed it after she joined me. And I brought another agent on in December, Javier, and he's killing it right now. It's like crazy. And we're busy. I added 3 brand new agents, which is something I swore I'd never do, that just started in the last couple weeks. And we're trying to train them now to work the leads. One of them started today, as a matter of fact. So
I think a lot of people that are listening right now, Al, are like, okay, how are you doing so many leads? What are some of the keys to success with internet lead conversion that you've found?
Having thick skin. Now, with all the success I've had over the last 35 years, I personally sold 1,600 homes personally, not my team. I've had teams, I've had companies that I ran, I've had offices that I managed. But I've probably failed more than anybody else that's watching this. With all the success, I'm willing to fail. It doesn't matter to me if someone hangs up on me. It doesn't matter to me if they say no. I just go to the next one, and that's really the key to it. Is Tom Hopkins. Okay, I was trained by the 3 guys that trained me were Tom Hopkins, Floyd Wickman, who I know trained Greg Harrelson, and Mike Ferry. Now, these guys used to do the trainings themselves. Most people don't know Mike Ferry used to have workshops around the country where he'd personally come and train you. So these guys, I was trained by the best. And Tom Hopkins, the first thing he taught you was, I never see failure as failure, only an opportunity to enhance my techniques and perfect my performance. So every time I fail, I say to myself, what could I have done better to do it better next time? And so I'm willing to fail more than most people are willing to fail. That's all.
I love that. I couldn't agree more. The one thing that I challenge everybody that I work with is point the finger at yourself, right? Before you start pointing fingers at other people, always start here and take accountability. And I always break down my processes when things don't go the way that I want them to. I break that down. And so really cool to hear that, because I think there's a lot of people that have a fear of this thing right here, this phone. They're afraid to pick it up. They're afraid to start, engaging with strangers because I don't know these people. I don't want to bother them. So how would you help somebody who maybe is feeling like that phone weighs 1,000 pounds? How would you help them overcome that?
Wow. That's a great question. Well, it's just a phone. It takes, when we didn't have email, we didn't have text, we didn't have any of that stuff. So we were trained on the phone. So for me, it's like second nature. It's automatic. The goal is obviously to get the person on the phone. And once you get them on the phone, if you're any good, it's easy to add value to, Jason, by asking questions, you add the right value, asking the right questions. I was taught back in the day to always be closing, always ask for the appointments. Everybody uses LP Mama. I use LP Mama. I call it LP Mama, only not because I'm Al, but I ask for the appointment first. Then I go to location, price, motivation, agent, mortgage, and appointment. So I'm asking for the appointment right up front. That's my first. When I call you, when I email you, when I text you, when I chat you, it's hi, hi, thanks for signing up on my website. Would you like to look at some homes? Period. That's it. Maybe a little more than that. I'm asking them, and you'd be amazed at how many people say yes. I know everybody's got different systems. I know you've got a system. I know Todd's system is calling people believe me, the one thing that I've done, even with all my knowledge and experience, is I watch you guys. Okay, I watch Greg Harrelson and Abe Saphice. I might not watch them live every week because I'm working. I've watched every one of these videos that they've done. I mean, those guys are the real deal. You're the real deal. Todd's the real deal. Now, the difference is, you know, I've been a professional agent. Okay. I haven't been a professional coach. I haven't been a professional sales trainer. My job has always been to help people buy and sell real estate. So for me, it's really just about helping people buy and sell real estate and get, you know, when you get them on the phone, I talk to people as if they're my friend that I haven't met yet. Everybody's nervous and they want to tell them how great they are and what they're going to do for them. I don't do that. I talk to them as if they're my friend I haven't met. You know, that's great. That's exciting. You know, when do you want to be here? When do you want to, you know, whatever it is, it's talking to a friend I haven't met yet.
I love that.
You know, and that they become, you know, that adds more value than anything you have. They don't care what you know till they know you care. All right.
Couldn't agree more.
So, you know, I like to ask them a lot of questions, you know, why, you know, again, the motivation one is a huge one.
Right.
You know, why are, you know, what is it that you're looking for? You know, I don't ask it in those words, you know, but, you know, the motivation, finding out what their real motivation is the key.
Yeah, I love that. A really good question, Al, that we often like to use is, hey, what is it about your current home right now that isn't quite working for you that has you exploring other options? You know, that's
right.
kind of
well,
a nice
that would be
way
that's awesome in a market. You know, there's two different markets that you know you're marketing to online. Our market is more of a destination market. And your market is more of a move up, move down market. So you work with whatever's appropriate for your market.
Right.
You know, and obviously that, honestly, people have made the comment, and I've heard it, that it works for me because I'm in the market that I'm in. Well, to me, it's a joke, because if I was back in Chicago and I was using this system, I'd be killing it double, because I don't have all the listing leads that you guys get. Every buyer lead is a listing lead. Whereas here, if they're coming from somewhere else, yes, it's a listing lead for somebody else that I can refer, but it's not the same thing. I know if I was in a move up, move down market and I had somebody looking on my website, I'd certainly be finding, you know, I'd be using the tools that I have, that we all have as realtors, to look that person up, find out where they live, and you can be sure I'd be knocking on their door saying, "Hi, I'm Al Lewis. You signed up on my website. It was just wanted to stop by and introduce myself." You know, and that's the thing. You know, I'm not going to hop in a plane and fly to New York or New Jersey. Not that they'd let me now with the COVID thing. You know, which the COVID thing, you know, we talk about the numbers, and yeah, we're doing good. We had 22 appointments scheduled for the next 3 weeks when things got shut down for COVID. 22 appointments in the next 3 weeks that all got canceled. So, you know, we got hurt just as much as anybody else with the COVID. Lindsay took off for 3 months because of it. She had somebody unfortunately pass away early in the COVID. And then, you know, she has a young daughter, so she just took off for the 3 months. And we didn't really do much in the 3 months. We've closed out the deals we had. Around May, we started up again, and we're killing it again right now.
So Al, if I'm somebody listening right now and I'm thinking, okay, how do I implement some of the systems that Al has? What types of systems have you and your team implemented utilizing the technology that you have with Real Geeks?
Okay. Well, the first thing is, don't get bogged down in the systems. Yes, you need to have one. My system, when I ran my first ad in Real Geeks, was nothing. It was, okay, I've got my telephone. That's all I have. That's all I didn't use the email was the out-of-the-box email that Real Geeks provides for you. I didn't use the auto text. We didn't have the chat yet. So all I did was pick up the phone and learn. I didn't really know how to use the CRM. I didn't know how to use anything. I didn't start using the workflow till 2 months ago, when I watched the episode for Abe and Greg, and I watched that episode 4 times. I'm not kidding you. And I listened to everything they said and what they would do and when they would do it. And I wrote it down, and I wrote those workflows out. But before that, so the key to me is the first 5 minutes. Okay, we get a hold. I know that about 30% of our leads have no phone number, which is good. I'll talk about what we do with those leads in a minute. Okay, when they either sign up with no phone number through Facebook, or they give us a phony phone number. Okay, so I don't worry about those 30%. I'll tell you what, because that still gives us 70% to potentially talk to. And of those leads, we probably get a hold of at least 50 to 60% of those leads, okay, in the first 5 minutes. And what we do is, obviously, we have the automatic email that goes out, but we've customized it. Have you ever read the and it's good. Have you ever read the automated email that goes out?
From Real Geeks?
Yeah. No, nobody else has. That's the point. Nobody else has either. Yeah. Okay, so we customized our automated email so it's relevant to what they're getting. Okay, right. I tested the auto text. The auto text goes out 2 minutes after. 1 minute was too soon. It didn't look real. So 2 minutes after the lead signs up, they get an auto text. Hi, hi, thanks for signing up on my website. Are you here in town and would you like to take a look at some homes? Or would you, or would you, I don't even remember what it says. Doesn't matter what it says. But it's an alternative choice. I give them a couple of choices. We actually play with that a little bit. 4 minutes, they get the auto chat. And the reason it's 4 minutes, I tested that also. When I put it at 1 minute, my bounce rate went way up. I noticed people were bouncing. Okay. I noticed that people were, my bounce rate is about, 24%. All right. Which I don't know if that's good or bad, but I just know that's what it is. I noticed that the average person was spending 7.5 minutes on my website. So I knew I have a certain amount of time to get a hold of people and I didn't want to scare them away. So we send them the email at minute 1. At 2 minutes, or at second 1. At 2 minutes, they get the auto text from us. 4 minutes, they get the auto chat from us. At 5 minutes, we call them. And the reason we do that is we're also able to monitor and see what they're looking for. I know a lot of people are picking up the phone right away and it works for them. I don't care what your system is. Come up with a system. All right. So at 5 minutes, we call them. We're giving them a chance to respond to the text, to respond to the chat. 15% of the people are responding to the chat, which is crazy. Okay. I mean, that's how many, and that chat feature has kind of changed our prospecting. I mean, we are able to use that chat feature. We know that people are getting the emails at 8 o'clock in the morning. They're coming back, between 8 and 11 in the morning. We come in at 8 in the morning, we start prospecting, we work the database, and we're watching to see who's coming back. And these people that we can't get a hold of, or even people that we have getting a hold of, we're chatting with them and they're chatting with us. We don't know whether these are, we don't know whether people like to talk to us either on the phone or by email or by text or by chat. We don't care how ultimately we want them on the phone, of course, but we need to make contact with them. And whatever method they choose, we're happy to use that method to talk to them. So, that's really what it's all, we're willing to, we're working the database. That's something that we're doing too. Like I said, we can cold prospect or we can warm prospect. As far as I'm concerned, any of these leads that have signed up on our website are warm prospects. They're somebody who had, it's sort of like, and we talked, Jason, you and I talked about this, when, everybody says, oh, all the leads are just looking. Well, of course they're just looking. When you go to Best Buy, you got in the car, you drove to Best Buy, you parked in the parking lot, you walked in and they say, can I help you? No, I'm just looking. Well, you didn't get in the car, drive to Best Buy and go in there because you were just looking. So when someone says to me that they're just looking, I go, that's great. What are you looking for? That's exciting. So, we start the LP Mama with that. We love it when somebody says they're just looking.
I love that. I mean, it's called a smoke screen, right? And often a smoke screen could be two things. Number one, poor first question. You didn't ask a good question. Or, it's just simply somebody that's like, oh, let me see if I can just get this person off the phone. And if you just accept that smoke screen, you're not going to get very far with these leads, right? And that's something we coach a lot to. I mean, if I walked into a department store today and you just were like, hey, can I help you? I'm programmed to just be like, oh, I'm just looking. I don't know why I do that, but I just do. But if you were to ask me a different question, you're like, hey, Jason, you wouldn't know my name, but hey, what brought you in the store today? I'd be like, well, I'm looking for a pair of jeans, or I'm looking for this, because I don't walk into a store for fun. You'll never find me in a store for
they're
fun.
not coming to your website for fun either.
Exactly. I agree with you 1,000%, but you got anybody listening right now. This is very, like, he's giving you gold. Do not accept these smoke screens as like absolute truths. They are just throwing you a smoke screen, just like people throw. And it's usually because of a bad question, or they're just seeing if they can brush you off quickly, and you got to overcome that. So I love what you talked about there, Al. I mean, what for people that are maybe thinking about getting into the internet lead gen game, or are in the internet lead gen game right now and just want to be incrementally better? What's a couple tips that you would give them that have really worked for you? A couple more tips, because I think people want something tangible when they watch these.
Work the database. I mean, that's what the database doesn't work itself. I see, on the mastermind, on the Real Geek Mastermind in Facebook, everybody wants to pawn off. Nobody's going to work your leads as good as you. You've spent a lot of money generating these leads. Okay. And there's a reason that the people work for Ava, or they work for these other guys, and they're not selling real estate. If they were any good at converting, they'd be selling real estate, right? So nobody's going to work your leads as good as you. Work it yourself. If you're too busy to work the leads, that's great. Then you can farm that stuff out, but you've got to work the leads yourself. You can't expect somebody to work them as good as you can. The other thing is, the leads that you generate leads that you want. It doesn't make sense for you to generate leads from an area that you don't want those leads. You're not going to do anything with them. So generate the type of lead that you want. And it takes time to do that. You have to figure out what it is that you do want. Everybody wants to, I made the joke before about how 1995, when the internet came out, that they were going to, put us out of business. Well, everybody would like their website. They want to take a lead and make it into a closing, just jump out all through all the other steps. Well, you have the lead, then you have to contact the lead and turn them into a prospect. Then you have to turn the prospect into a customer, and that's the only way then you can turn it into a closing. Okay, you can't skip from lead to closing. You prospect and customer come before closing. So they've got to understand it's a 4-step process. Now I noticed that there's no shopping cart on our website, which means that that's what everybody wants. They want, I want that house. Let me put that in the shopping cart. Let me give you my credit card and check out, and you get paid. Well, it doesn't work that way. You have to understand that this is work. This is that lead follow-up is a job. It's not, the reason we get paid thousands of dollars a transaction is because it's not easy.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into it.
Yeah.
How many calls a day are you guys generally making, and how many days a week are you trying to do that? And then also, how many text messages are you putting into a day? Because I think that's something in 2020, if you're not texting and using that capability in the website, you're missing out on a lot.
Yeah, we're doing a lot. Honestly, and I'm not good at tracking the numbers. We're doing whatever it takes. We get here and we spend, we try and if we're not showing, if we don't have appointments, we try and spend 3 hours a day prospecting the database. And chat, I'm telling you, yes, we send text. Yes, we're looking for people that we're spying on them on our website. And again, one of the best things we're contacting people with is the chat feature. We call them, they don't answer. We text them, they don't respond. We email them, they don't. But we know when they're on our website. So we know they're coming back because they got the daily updates that morning. We know they're going to be there between 8 and 11 o'clock. We're just sitting there waiting for them. Come on in. Lindsay, you see Lindsay right there? She's chatting away with people right now. That's exactly what she's doing. She's sitting and watching for people to come to the website. And when they come on, she's chatting with them. So we're using that tool. That was the best tool that Real Geeks ever added, was the chat. Well, I'll tell you, here's a great story with chat. And this is a true story. So a lead signed up, and I was sitting here at the computer, and he responded to the auto chat, and he and I talked for a while. And for 15 minutes, he and I went back and forth. We talked. At the end of the chat, he told me he was deaf. I could have called him all day long and he'd have never answered. Told me he was deaf. We communicated. I said, okay, great. I'll communicate with you via email and text. He said, that's fine. That's great. Got a call a few weeks later from his friend to tell me that they were coming down. They came down and they bought a house.
Wow.
If it wasn't for the chat, that's a deal that we had. One of many deals that we've had because of the chat feature. So it's a great tool. It really is.
I love hearing that story because, we put a lot of effort into that chat feature. So I love hearing about when our stuff.
We love it. We're working, again, it came out 6 months ago, and we're honestly, it's taken over for us from text.
Wow, that's cool.
We're still texting, obviously we still text like crazy. We're trying stuff all the time. We took 100 leads that we didn't have phone numbers for just the other day. And we tried, everybody talks about where you could text through your iPhone through using the email. So we took 100 to test them. We only got one blue light. so obviously we tried it. We said, all right, we've got, 1,000 leads with no phone number. If this works, I was all excited because I'm thinking we're going to get like a 20 or 30%. Now, with that being said, the one person did respond to us. So we got 100% response rate from the blues. So you know what I'm talking about, blue-green, right?
Yeah. So with iMessage on Apple, normally you can send an iMessage to a phone number, but a lot of folks don't know you can send an iMessage to an email too, right? So if someone signs up on your website and you don't get the phone number, you can still go into your iPhone and put in their email and send them a message, and sometimes it'll go through, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's interesting. So
we try.
We call it the lab, Al. We're our team, like our client care team. We're constantly testing things, right? We're tweaking.
Us too.
And, I think have some fun with it. You can't break anything. Do you agree? I mean, you literally can't break anything. Most of these people, they'll never do business with you if you don't follow up with them. So what you're worried about, I don't know. Try something. And literally, Al, I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be my approach, but you're literally just saying, hey, do you want to look at houses? And it's working. That's better than not doing anything. And probably what it's doing is it's making them, respond in some way. And then your charm and your natural abilities, you're actually building rapport after anyways. Whether they say,
Jason, one more step is not only am I asking them if they want to see houses, I'm setting them up for the just looking. Hey, did you want to take a look at any homes, or are you just looking? So I'm inviting them to tell me, I want to look at homes, or I'm just looking. And again, I go right into we're just looking. That's great. What are you looking for? So I'm inviting them to say just looking. Everybody else is afraid of it.
Actually, that's a question that just came up is what's your response to just looking? So, you're expecting them to say that. So I'd like to hear both from Al and Jason. If someone says, I'm just looking, what do both of you guys say?
Oh man, I love this stuff. What are you looking for is what they're going to say.
What are you looking for?
You know what I'd say? I'd say that's great. This is an amazing place to start. So tell me a little bit more about what you're looking for.
Right. I say that's great too. And that's the one thing I always tell people, you preface everything with that's great, or that's exciting, or that's perfect. Let them know that, that you're listening, but it also gives you a second to think about what your next response is going to be.
Right.
I use that second to respond, to let me think about the response. So, what is the next question? The problem with scripts, and we all have scripts, is the people on the other end of the phone don't know their lines. So we've got to, when they don't know their lines, we have to adapt and go to a different, script.
Yeah.
So that's
Al, how important do you think tonality is for people making calls?
Important.
Maybe talk about that, because I think
I try and match. We were taught to match, mirror and match. Obviously I'm very excitable, loud, aggressive. It doesn't work with a lot of people. So, what I like to think is people work with me because of my amazingly good looks, but I don't know how true that is, so, really, you've got to match what they're doing. If someone has a Southern drawl, I don't go to that extreme because that's not genuine. Although I was taught to do that back in the day. You try and match. If they're slow, you go a little slower. If they're fast, you go a little faster. You kind of match what they're doing. And again, I said this before, and I'll say it again. They don't care what you know till they know that you care. By all these questions that I'm asking, that I'm actually pre-qualifying them, they think that I'm asking them questions because I care about them.
Right.
Okay. So it's asking the right question. They don't care how great I am. They don't care how many homes I've sold. That means nothing to them. All they want to know is what's in it for me. That's it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, think about this, gentlemen, right? Have you ever had an amazing service experience in your life where you felt the person that you were talking to had their own interests first? Seriously, think about it. I'd like to hear if anybody's ever had a service experience where they felt that the person they were dealing with had their own interests first. I've never had it. If all you do is be curious and excited for them and make the whole experience about just getting to be curious, it's amazing what happens. I mean, look at the success Al's having. I mean, literally you decided, you know what? I had a 30-year career. I'm bored. I'm probably driving my wife crazy. I need to get back get back to work. And you decided I'm going to go start a real estate business in a market that I don't really know anybody. And you're selling how many homes in their first 12 months in a market you didn't know anybody?
Enough.
A lot.
Let's put it this. I had a goal just to, make $100,000 my first year. And I made that the first 6 months.
That's amazing.
Again, but see, I don't like to look at dollars. I don't like to look at commission. I don't like to look at volume, because volume and money is different in different markets. You're going to have a market where if you do 5 million in business, you're a superstar. And other places, if you do 5 million in business, you sold one house. Same thing with commission. So I like to look at transactions, the number of deals, because that's interchangeable from market to market. So again, last year, I don't know what I ended up with. I know the first 9 months, because I did do a post on Real Geeks talking about what I had done my first 9 months using Real Geeks. I remember at that time, it was like 28 deals. And in my first 9 months, and that was basically by myself. Lindsay had just joined me, and she did pretty well. But that was basically, on my own. Everybody wants to know how long it's going to take. Well, some of our leads we're closing in a week. Some of our leads we're closing in a year. Some of our leads now we're just getting those 1.5 year leads. So, the scary part about this whole thing is we're converting only about 2% of our leads, and 3% of our leads I know are buying from somebody else. Okay. And that's a problem. And the reason for that is we're just too busy with the leads that we're working. So, we're trying to figure that out. That's one of the reasons why I'm bringing in brand new agents, which again, I swore I would never do that again. But, I brought in 3 brand new agents in the last few weeks, and we're trying to train them our way. And hopefully they'll be trainable, and they'll be able to, first thing we do when we bring on a new agent is we give them 100 leads from the database. Not that the leads, I try and keep, each agent to under 100 leads in their database. Otherwise I unassign them. Over 100, it's too hard to work over 100 leads. You know that, Jason. Oh, yeah. So what I do is I give them 100 leads from the database, not necessarily bad leads, just leads we don't have time to work. And I have them call all 100 leads. So they get over the fear of the phone. They learn how to use the phone. They learn how to use the CRM. And that's what we start them with. And we had one agent that started with us 3 weeks ago, and she's showing houses every day now. We gave her those 100 leads. We just started giving her new leads about a week ago. How many appointments does Pam have? She's got 4 showing appointments lined up. One just came through for today or tomorrow. And she's been doing it for 3 weeks. She's working the database. We've taught her to work the database. So and these were, quote, old leads. They weren't bad leads. We just didn't have time to work on. I mean, everybody's got gold in their database. They're just not working on.
Oh man, there's so much gold. I remember when I started in the business, there was an agent who had hundreds of leads sitting in her database, had closed 1 deal in 13 months from it, but wasn't working them. I said, look, I'll work out a split with you and I'll work your database for you. Well, I set up $76,000 in commissions in 40 days.
Yeah.
And you know, I gave her a very generous split. I gave her 50% of that. Right. But it was just like, it's there, go after it. And it's just like you said, if you don't if you're not making the attempts and you're not curious and trying to connect with them in different mediums, you're missing out. And Real Geeks has literally made it foolproof for us. You've got the chat feature, you can text, you can email, you can call people. I mean, there's definitely a way that you can get a hold of people. You just have to figure out what that is.
Right.
So
now, sorry, go ahead.
No,
I wanted to tell you, I promised a bunch of people at chat. What do I do with the no phone number leads?
Yeah, let's hear about that. And I'll be right back. I've got my allergies kicking in right now. I'll be right back. I'm so sorry.
Okay, sounds good. So here's what we do. When it comes in, obviously, if they sign up with no phone number, we see that it has no phone number. If we call and we know that it's a phony number, we remove that phone number. And the reason we remove that phone number is because when they come back, and I'll tell you what we do with them to make sure they come back. When they come back, this way the system is asking them for their right phone number without a phone number, the wrong phone number already being auto-populated. And them just clicking and going, yeah, that's my phone number. So we decided to remove the phone number. So we removed the phone number. We set up an urgency. We changed the urgency to no phone number. And the reason for urgency, we have about 30 different urgencies. And the reason we use that urgency so much is if you look at the CRM, where is the urgency column? It's right next to the name. It's easy to sort. So we changed their status to no phone number, or the urgency to no phone number. We wipe the phone number out. We still make sure they're set up with an appropriate search, because as Kevin knows, the way their system is designed, they're still going to get those daily updates every day. So we make sure that the email that they're going to get, and every time they come back, they're going to be asked to give their phone number. And when they give us their phone number, we know they're ready to talk and they're ready to buy. So Kevin, there's a bug in the system, which Kevin and I talked about a couple weeks ago, and Kevin assures me it'll be fixed next week.
Yep. Actually, I just got a text from the team, so that's fixed as of right now. It just went live.
Awesome. Okay, so that's even better. You hear that, Lindsay? We fixed that. So what it is now you'll be, as of this moment forward, what we had to do was every day check to see who had given us their phone numbers, and sometimes we'd be so busy we wouldn't check for a week or two. So. And this is when I called Kevin a couple weeks ago, because if when they're online and they're giving you their phone number and saying, call me now, you need to call them now. So now we'll get notified of that. We weren't getting notified of that before, but that's all taken care of. But I'll just give you a stat. This is very interesting. We had Lindsay, we hadn't done it for a couple weeks. We hadn't checked the people that had added phone numbers. Lindsay checked and there was 10 people that had added phone numbers over maybe a month period, because we were so busy. We sold so many houses the last couple months, we just got busy. She called all 10 of them. 3 had bought houses. She got a hold of all 10 of them and 3 had bought houses. So, I mean, that just shows you when they add that phone number in, and like I said, set up that search, and that's all we do with them. That's it. When they're ready to talk, we'll talk. I know a lot of people look up their phone numbers, they chase them down. We've got too many other people, we've got too many other people we're already talking to. Worry about the people that want to talk to you.
The best drip campaign on the planet in real estate is the save search. And so we really focus a lot on that, making sure that, hey, we wanted to reach out to you to save you time by really dialing in your search, tell me more about what you're looking for. But like everything we're doing is trying to provide value and make their search easier so that we're sending them what they're looking for. Then we're checking in. We have built-in systems where we're checking in. So have you guys adopted any sort of follow-up text campaigns or email campaigns?
Yeah, well, again, we started 2 months ago when I watched that episode, and we only have 2 right now. And we're going to be working on more because Lindsay's making me put more together. Because there's only 2 types of leads. There's the leads that you've contacted and the leads that you haven't contacted, right? So the leads that we haven't contacted, we have a workflow, and it's taken basically straight from not what Greg had put into the Real Geeks, but what him and Abe said over their hour talking about it. And I wrote it and kind of adapted it to our area and message. And so we have what we call the workflow attempted. So in other words, we've attempted them, we didn't get them on the phone, and we start that workflow right away. And they get they get a text in 1 minute. The automated text says, hey, I just tried, hey, Jim, I just tried calling you. Sorry, I missed you. I'd love to answer any questions you have about real estate. I don't remember what it says, but it says something.
Yep.
And we have another text that goes out 45 minutes later. We have an email that goes out 15 minutes after that. And then we have another text that goes out like 2 or 3 hours later that day. So the first day, they're getting the auto email from us when they sign up. They're getting the text from us 2 minutes. They're getting the chat from us at 4 minutes. They're getting the call from us at 5 minutes. They're getting another text at, let's call it 6 minutes, 6 to 10 minutes. They're getting another text an hour after they signed up, another email. They're hearing from us 4 different ways, 9 times the first day.
Hey, Al, you've got some folks in the comments taking notes. 2 minutes after the sign up and text, 4 minutes live chat, 5-minute call. But then they're asking, how do you maintain the consistency, make sure that the call always happens? And then what do you do with calls that come in after hours?
Call them next morning at 8 o'clock. And those are actually the best people to talk to. We get here at 8 o'clock. Those are our first phone calls. We're tired. We've had a long day. If they respond, we have our hours turned off where, well, first I'll tell you our advertising when we're doing either Google or Facebook or whatever, or Bing or whatever, is set up where the ads only run from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. period. I don't want the leads that are coming in overnight. I don't have time. I'd rather focus my money in that time frame. Okay. So the next thing I do is our office hours are basically the same. So, no texts go out after 10 o'clock at night or before, actually 7 in the morning, because if they sign up after 10 o'clock at night, that auto text goes out at 7 a.m. So then we come in at 8 o'clock in the morning. Hi, this is Al Lewis from Remax. Saw you signed up on my website last night. Was wondering if you wanted to take a look at any homes or if you were just looking. And again, I get a hold of that. We probably, now that's not to say if they respond to at night, if it comes in and they respond to the auto text or the email or the chat, if we're available and they look hot, of course, we're going to jump on that. We're realtors. We're used to being, having to be available. But if they don't, it can wait till the next morning. It won't kill anybody if we wait till the next day. A lot of people don't want to talk to you at night anyhow.
Yeah, totally. And I agree with that. And look, in theory, we want everybody being contacted within 5 minutes, but that's not always going to be the case, right? There's going to be a lot of circumstances that doesn't happen.
Right. Yeah, if you're a solo agent, you're out showing, call them when you're done. Yeah. It's not the end of the world if you can't get to them in the 5 minutes. It's okay. Really, just call them though.
I used to do that in between appointments. So like if I had a 10-minute drive or a 15-minute drive, instead of listening to the radio, I would just make Real Geek calls.
Yep, exactly. Literally. So it won't kill anybody if you call them an hour late.
No, and that's why we've set up processes, right? You've got the text and you've got the chat and you've got the email and the text. I mean, that's to help your conversion. I mean, with the systems that we've put in, we're finding we're having a response rate in the first week. We're probably making contact with at least 70% of our leads, 80% of it's really high.
Well, with the workflow, we're doing about that right now.
Yeah.
And with the workflow, because we're doing that.
Nothing better than, even if they tell you to pound sand, it's okay, because at least we're making contact. And that's kind of the point of why we're doing it. But we're always coming from a place of service and value. So Al, I mean, you're off to a big start here. And I remember Jeff Manson did this to me back in the day, and he's made me set some ridiculous goal about what I wanted to do. So what does the next 12 months look for Al Lewis? What are you going to do, Al? Set a big goal here. Everybody's listening.
I don't know. I swore I would never do this again. So, I honestly don't know, because again, I swore when I came down here, again, I still needed to work. I still wanted to work. I'm young. I needed to work. We're comfortable, but I don't have total retirement dollars. And I've done it all from real estate. My wife has always been a homemaker. I know, Jason, I know you're setting up the multi-streams, and probably I've been so busy making a good living as a realtor for 35 years that I never got wealthy. You know what I mean? But I've always been very comfortable from selling real estate. So I don't know. I set up I had my own company before. I've managed offices. I've managed multi-offices, had a lot of agents working for me. I don't know what I'm going to do. I swear I'd never have a team again. And here I am.
Here you are building a team.
Yeah, right. So I honestly don't know. I really need to sit down and write out my 5-year goals, because I don't have them put down right now.
All right. Well, we'll talk about that sometime, man. Let's get a goal in place for your agents too, right? How can you help them sell more houses? Because at this point, it sounds like, Al, I mean, you've proven everything you need to prove yourself in real estate, and been incredibly successful. And it sounds like you're really committed now to helping the people that you're working with, helping them do the same.
I can tell you that them making a living, I make a living. Okay, I could make a great living without them, and they could, my goal is for them to make a great living. And Lindsay, she's right here. I will tell you, my goal is for them to make a great living and have a good life.
Love it.
So I agree with you.
Awesome. Any final last thoughts you want to provide the audience? Any last items of value, or, how can people help support you with some referrals? What market are you in?
I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm down in Southwest Florida. Our primary area is Cape Coral, Fort Myers. We also work Bonita Springs, Estero, Naples to a lesser degree, but that's basically our primary area. So we have a lot of people, like you said, that are coming from around the country, coming down here. Of course, our inventory, just like everybody else's, is down. We're down 50%. What's your inventory like up there?
Man, we're probably down, we're down maybe 20-25%.
We're literally down 50%.
Wow.
Our inventory.
Wow.
So, but houses are still selling every day.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's crazy, hey, because to think back in March, how many people were panicked with COVID, and, now seeing people.
Let me tell you a funny story with that. So I went through all the ups and downs. And in 2007, when the market went way down, in 2010, I netted $28,000 and went, am I going to have to do something else? So I got into the short sale business, helping people short sale. The next 3 years, I made a lot of money short selling. I got great at it. Chase, Bank of America, Citi all put me on their recommended short sale agent. I had more short sale business than I could handle. So when the market crashed again right now, the first thing I did was bought like 10 domains with short sale in it, just in case the market went down again. I bought foreclosure domains. I bought short sale domains. Obviously, I have no need for them now, but I thought the market was going that way, but wow. I was wrong.
So. Well, but it's a good wake-up call, right? As bad as people felt things were, and as good as you feel they are right now, guys, make sure that you're being smart with your money. Make sure that you understand that, real estate has ups and downs. The one thing, though, that people can control, Al, is the activities that they're putting out, right? I mean, that was our recovery plan with COVID was, hey, let's just stay focused on what we can control. Let's up our activities. Let's make sure that we're connecting with people, because people are going to need to buy, sell, right? It's just always going to happen. Even in the worst markets, there's still some activity, right?
People need a place to live.
Right.
It's that simple. They have to have a place to live. So, but the best thing, you asked me what I would leave work the database. I get so aggravated when I hear people say the leads are crap. You're right. They are crap. If you don't work them, they're crap. So, work your database. It doesn't work itself.
It's true.
That's it.
I mean, you've got Al here literally coming out of retirement and saying, no, I'm going to go do this for fun, and blowing it up. And, I've been able to build incredible wealth, using internet leads as a main pillar in our business. And you guys, it's there. If you want to take it, it's there, but you can't overthink it. You got to be a doer, right? Al's not sitting there trying to think of the perfect thing to say. He's just taking action. Just like us, we're taking action. We're working our skills, but at the end of the day, there's no such thing as a perfect phone call, is there, Al?
No. And like I said, at the end of the phone call, I say, what could I have done better? But don't worry about having the perfect system in place. I told you, my system when I started this 2 years ago or 20 months ago was me and a telephone. That's it. I had no other system. I didn't know how to use the CRM. I didn't know, I didn't know. So, as time went on, and I see everybody who wants to integrate all these things, Real Geeks, with, they don't know how to use 90% of what they have in Real Geeks, but they want it to integrate with 20 different things. I don't integrate with anything. Okay. I tried integrating it with MailChimp, and I found that when I tried converting the leads over to MailChimp, that for whatever reason, MailChimp only accepted half of them. But when I downloaded them from Real Geeks and uploaded them to MailChimp, MailChimp accepted all of them. So, don't worry about the integrations. Worry about what you have and use the system that you have. Everybody's looking. One of the things that they're also doing, everybody wants their website to be beautiful. My website is basically out of the box. Okay. All I'm worried about with my website, it's not my business card. My website is designed for lead generation and lead conversion and lead contact. That's it. Okay. It's not the most beautiful website. The reason I chose Real Geeks was because of their front end tool for people to search properties. I felt that the front end tool of Real Geeks to search properties, the advanced search, the regular search bar that comes up when people come to the website was, far better than all those other websites that have that single line in them, and they're hard to use. So that's why I chose Real Geeks. And, I see all these people customizing their websites, just generate leads from them. It's not a bit, if you don't complain when it doesn't convert as well, because you spent all this money changing it.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to kind of end this. I think that's great. Al, thank you so much for providing value and for being willing to just share. And again, if anybody wants to have a great referral partner that they can send out to in Cape Coral, Florida, Al Lewis and his team will take amazing care of them. Al, it's been a pleasure getting to know you better, and I'm looking forward to masterminding with you and us just continuing to level up as an industry. And that's the whole point of this. Kevin, thank you for putting on an amazing company and literally allowing us to do what we do best, which is help people sell real estate. I want to throw a quick plug out there to our unofficial Real Geeks conference coming up, where we're going to have some amazing speakers. There's going to be amazing value. People are opening up their full playbooks and sharing. That's going to be October 20th and 21st. Tickets are still available. I think there's quite a few sold, but it's going to be a virtual conference this year. Todd Tremonti is putting it on. We had one last year, and it was amazing. There was a lot of value there. So highly recommend people check that out. Kevin, what are your final thoughts?
Folks in the chat are asking you, Al, how can they get a hold of you if they want to reach you? What's the best way?
Email is al@capehomevalues.com.
Great.
That's values with an S, al@capehomevalues.com.
Perfect. Yeah. Thanks so much, guys. Al, your energy, I think, really brings a lot here. Your excitement with what you're doing is infectious, and it's really been a pleasure having you on. Jason, pleasure as always. Thanks everybody for watching. If you want to see this episode after it's gone live, you can go to keepingitreal.com and we'll put it up on there. We're also in the podcast app store and in several different places. And if you want to be notified of future Keeping It Real episodes, you can go to keepingitreal.com and put in your email and sign up, and we'll send you an email when a new one comes out. So thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Awesome. All right, thanks, guys. See y'all later. I got to fly. I got an appointment. See you later.
All right, go close it. Bye. All right, thanks.